Welcome to Pratibha Tutorials. Please take a moment and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.
Dear students, today in this video we will learn about a physical quantity that is called force. Force in the simplest language may be defined as any push or pull on the object. The force may be simply push or pull on the object. Suppose a body is stationary. When we push it, it may start moving in the direction of the force applied. Similarly, if we pull it, again the body may start moving in the direction of the pull. But more precisely, we can define force as an effort which may bring about a change in the state of rest or motion, as the case may be, or may change the direction of motion, or may bring about a change in the shape of the body. Thus, a force may bring about the following changes. First, it may change in the state of rest or motion. Secondly, change in the direction of motion. And thirdly, can change the shape of a body. So these are the effects of force. Change in the state of rest or motion implies that if a body is in rest, by applying force, the body may start moving. Or if it is already in motion, then its speed may be altered or changed by applying force. It may be increased or it may be decreased. If we apply force in the direction of motion, the speed increases. But if we apply force in a direction opposite to its motion, then its speed is decreased. Change in the direction of motion. If a body is moving in a particular direction, by applying force we can change its direction. For example, a batsman hit the ball thrown by a bowler and thereby changing the direction of the motion of the ball. It can change the shape of a body. For example, if we hammer a stone, it breaks into pieces and thus the shape of that stone is changed. Similarly, in the case of molding clay, when we apply force on it, its shape is changed. We can give it different required shapes. The force may be balanced force or it may be unbalanced force. We will first discuss the balanced force. Balanced forces are those forces which when applied on a body leaves no change or effect on the body. For example, a block is placed on the floor. The two forces are acting on it. One is due to gravitational pull, that is weight, and another force which is acting in opposite direction, and that is the normal reaction of the ground, which is opposite to weight. As long as the two forces are equal, there won't be any change in the position or shape, etc. of this block. We can apply a force, say F1, from left to right, and there is another force in the same line, F2, in a direction opposite to F1. If the magnitude of F1 and F2 are equal, their directions are opposite. So to show the opposite direction, we put a minus sign, which suggests that magnitudes of the two forces are equal but directions are opposite. The two forces are balanced forces and there is no change in the state of rest of this body. Such forces are called balanced forces. Unbalanced forces are those forces which, when applied on a body, say F1 from left to right and F2 from right to left. Two other forces, that is normal reaction and weight, are balancing each other. The two forces are balanced. These are the applied forces. If F1 magnitude of F1 is greater than F2, then the body will start moving in the direction of F1. On the other hand, if F2 is greater than F1, then the body will move from F2 towards F1. That is from right to left. This is left to right and this is right to left. Such forces are unbalanced forces. The two forces may be unbalanced in spite of their equal magnitude, and in that case the line of action of the two forces is not same. Their magnitudes are equal or may be equal. The magnitudes of F1 and F2 may be equal or unequal, but in spite of that, equal magnitudes being not in the same line, the two forces may not be called balanced forces. Such forces are unbalanced forces. So two things, either their magnitudes are unequal or the line of action of the forces are not same. In the two cases, the forces are unbalanced forces. Now we will discuss Newton's laws of motion. Newton gave three laws of motion which are named as Newton's first law of motion, Newton's second law of motion and Newton's third law of motion. According to Newton's first law of motion, if a body is in rest, it tends to remain in rest, and if it is in motion, it tends to remain in motion unless an unbalanced force is applied on the body. This is Newton's first law of motion. This law is also called law of inertia. The meaning of inertia: inertia is the property of bodies which resist any change in their state of rest or motion, as the case may be. The cause of inertia is mass of the body. Inertia is directly proportional to mass of body. That is, greater the mass, greater is the inertia, and that's why in order to break such inertia, we have to apply greater force. And if mass is less, by applying force of small magnitude, we can bring about a change in the state of rest or motion, as the case may be. And thus we can say we require a greater force in moving or displacing a heavy block as compared to a light weight block. Now we can see different examples or applications where the Newton's first law of motion may be applied. Now we discuss some examples where Newton's first law of motion is applied. First example, when we are sitting in a car which is stationary, suddenly the car starts moving, we feel a backward jerk. This is because when the car starts moving, our body is still tending to remain in rest, and that's why we feel a backward jerk. Another example, if we are sitting in a moving car and suddenly brakes are applied, we feel a forward jerk. This is because while the car is moving, our body is moving with the same speed, but when the car is stopped, our body still tends to move in the same direction, and thus we feel a forward jerk. Now we will discuss some applications of Newton's first law of motion. Firstly, in order to remove the dirt or dust from a blanket, we give it a jerk. When we give a jerk to it, what happens? The blanket starts moving, but the dust particles tends to remain in rest and thus detach from the blanket and can be removed. Same is the case when we hit the blanket with a stick, the force is transmitted on the blanket and it is pushed downwards, while the dust particles tends to remain in their respective place and detach from the blanket, and this is how these are separated. Another application can be seen while we jump out of a moving bus. In order to jump out safely, we keep our face, we stand and keep our face in the direction of the motion of the bus and jump out of the bus. As soon as our feet touch the ground, we start running a few steps in the direction of the motion, and gradually we can slow down and stop. But on the other end, if we try after jumping from the bus to stop as soon as our feet touches the ground, then our feet will come to rest, but upper part of the body is still tending to move forward and it will fall down. Similarly, while climbing into a moving bus, before the bus arrives, we start running in the direction of the motion of the bus so that we can match our speed with the motion of the bus, and as soon as the door of the bus comes in front of us, we hold the bar and jump into it. And this is the safe. Of course, it is not advisable to jump out of it or jump into a moving bus, but still, if one is trying, then it is the safe mode of jumping out of a moving bus or jumping into a moving bus. Now we will discuss the Newton's second law of motion. According to this law, force applied on a body is directly proportional to the product of mass of the body and acceleration produced in the body. To remove the sign of proportionality, we multiply it by a constant of proportionality. Here it is k. As the value of k is found to be 1 by experiments, therefore F is equal to m into a. This is the second law of motion. Second law of motion is having different applications in the field of automobiles. It is always considered how much acceleration we want to produce in it, what is the mass of the automobile, and what is the strength or what strength is to be provided to the engine of the automobile. Besides this, one more application that we see in the game of cricket, when a fielder catches a ball which is hit by a batsman, there are different ways of stopping the ball. We can catch it like this without pulling the hand backwards. In that case, the ball will hit the hands and stopped in fraction of second. Suppose the mass of the ball is 0.2 kg. Mass of cricket ball, and it is coming to the fielder at a velocity of say 10 meter second minus 1, and if we catch the ball without pulling the hand backwards, it is stopped in time say 0.1 second. Then we calculate the force with which it will hit our hands. We know F is equal to ma, where a is acceleration and that is mv minus u upon time t. Mass is 0.2 kg multiplied by v is 0 minus 10 upon 0.1 time. Decimals are cancelled and it is minus 20 Newton force is applied on the hands. That is, the ball, if stopped suddenly without pulling the hand backwards, then it will hit with a force of 20 newtons. The minus sign is because it is negative acceleration. The second situation, if we pulling the hands backwards, as soon as the ball hit our hands, we start pulling the hands backwards, as we have seen in the game of cricket while fielder catches the ball. And suppose the time taken in this case is 0.5 second. So we increase the time period in stopping the ball. This is 0.5 seconds. Now applying force is equal to m v minus u upon t, 0.2 multiplied by 0 minus 10 upon 0.5. Decimals are removed and 5 to the 10, 2 to the 4, minus 4 Newton. So if we pull our hand backwards, as soon as the ball touches the hands, we increase the time period in stopping the ball, and thus the impact of force is only 4 newtons. Now we compare the two. In the first case, without pulling the hand backwards, we catch the ball and the ball is instantly stopped, and thereby hitting our hands with great force may cause injury. But in the second case, when we pull our hand backwards, the impact of force is only minus 4 newtons, minus only showing retardation, that's why negative sign is there. So impact of force is of 4 newtons, which is much less than in the first case, and thereby this second law of motion is finding an application in catching a ball. Now we will discuss Newton's third law of motion. According to third law of motion, that is also called action-reaction law. According to this law, For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. The meaning is, if we apply a force on a body, that body also apply an equal force but in opposite direction. For example, we can discuss different applications of this law. While walking, what we do? We try to push the ground by 1 foot in backward direction. By pushing the ground backwards, we move forwards. So we are able to walk only because of action and reaction law. Here action is pushing the ground in backward direction by our foot, and reaction is our body moves forward. Second, when a bullet is shot from a gun, as soon as the bullet comes out of the barrel, this is action. Then a backward jerk is felt on the gun, that is called recoil of the gun, which is reaction. So in recoiling of the gun, action, reaction or Newton's third law of motion is applied. Third case, when a rocket is launched from Earth station by igniting the fuel, rapidly expanding hot gases, rather hot burning gases, rushing outward in downward direction. So that is action, and the reaction of this is the rocket is lifted upwards. Similarly, when we climb down from a boat, on a platform, this is the platform, we have to climb down on this platform. What we do? We come close to this end of the boat with one leg or rather 1 foot, we push it in backward direction and jump on the platform in forward direction. The action is pushing the boat, and action and jumping on the platform. Jumping on the platform is the reaction. Now we discuss another physical quantity, and that is called momentum. It is the product of mass and velocity of a body, that is mass of the body and velocity with which the body is in motion. Momentum is denoted by symbol P. This is equal to m, mass of the body, and v is velocity of the body. From Newton's second law of motion, we can derive another definition of force. By Newton's second law of motion, F is equal to m into a, where a is acceleration and that is m, V minus u upon t. Acceleration is V minus u upon t, and that is mv minus mu upon time t, and that is change in momentum. M into V is final momentum minus m into u initial momentum, because V is final velocity and u is initial velocity. So that is change in momentum upon time. Thus, the force may be defined as rate change of momentum. Thus, the force may be defined as the rate change of momentum. And this is another definition of force. The next topic is law of conservation of momentum. According to this law, when the two bodies moving in the same straight line, in the same direction or in opposite direction collide, the total momentum of the two bodies before the collision and after the collision remain same. That is, the total momentum during such collisions is conserved. There is no loss of momentum. We can prove the law of conservation of momentum. We take two bodies A and body B. A mass m1 and its initial velocity is u1, moving in this direction. Body B with mass m2 may be stationary or may be moving with velocity u2, either in the same direction or opposite to each other. I am taking in the same direction. In that case, there will be collision only if u1 is greater than u2. Okay? Collision takes place if u1 is greater than u2. And after the collision, the body A either stopped or start moving with reduced velocity, say v1 final velocity, and the body B with increased velocity, say v2. Then by definition of force, force applied by body A on body B is equal to rate change in its momentum, that is m1 v1 minus m1 u1 upon time t. During the collision, an equal force is applied by body B on body A, and that is denoted by FBA is equal to rate change of momentum of body B, that is m2 v2 minus m2 u2 upon time t. Now, by Newton's third law of motion, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Therefore, When a force is applied by body A on body B during the collision, body B also applies an equal force but in opposite direction on body A. Thus, FAB is equal to minus FBA. Minus shows the direction of the forces applied by body A on B and by body B on body A are opposite. The sign of equality shows that the forces applied by body A on B and B by B on A are of equal magnitude. Now, replacing FAB and FBA by their respective values. So, M1 V1 minus M1 U1 upon time t is minus M2 V2 minus M2 U2 upon time t. T is cancelled and thus it is M1 V1 minus M1 U1 is equal to, because of minus sign of these two will change, M2 minus M2 V2 and plus M2 U2. Now, by transposition, minus M1 U1 is transposed in RHS, become positive, and minus M2 V2 transposed in LHS, the sign are changed. Thus, by transposition, we can say M1 V1 plus M2 V2 is equal to M1 U1 plus M2 U2. Hence, the law of conservation of momentum is proved. That is, the total final momentum of the two bodies is equal to total initial momentum of the two bodies, and thus there is no loss in the momentum, or the momentum is conserved during collisions of two bodies.